Hi, welcome for our online training sessions. In this, if you are not subscribed for our YouTube channel, please subscribe for this RTL online trainings. Go to playlists. You can find differentiation for EBS and SQL, PLSQL, Fusion Finance, Fusion HCM, Human Capital Management, Supply Chain Management. We'll find here. So in this session, I'm going to explain you how to configure the entire global HR in faster way. So I'm going to provide, this is the sequence of the setups. Anyway, I'll also note it down in the notepad here, or we can do it here. Okay. So practical point of view, I'm going to explain here. So first, what we have to do is we are supposed to configure our legal entity, nothing but our company. The legal entity is nothing but our company. So we have to specify the legal employer and PSU as well as the tax reporting unit. Let's go to FSM environment. Legal address I'm going to create. Enterprise will be already available. Top level organization. I'm going to choose this as ECS. Here it is. Puts New York address. Enter the legal address. Nothing but office address. Here we are going to configure. So we'll ask our client how many legal addresses they have. It means how many companies they have across the world or within the country. Also, we can have multiple companies. Next, once the addresses are created, then we will go for creating legal entity, nothing but company. We are going to create a company. Let's choose create new option because we want to go for create a new company here. Let's go for create here. Maintain the same naming convention so that we can easily understand New York legal entity. And we are going to make this legal entity as legal employer. Here it is. Enter this all information. We are supposed to get it from the client. Whatever the legal information about the company, even the client also, whenever they register the office, for example, if it is Singapore, if you want to start a company in Singapore, first we have to take a building office, either for rental or for sale, means we have to purchase. Then we have to apply for the permission, means registration. Then we need to go with our legal details, whatever the government is allocated there. So once the legal entity is configured, we need to go for, configure this attached to the HCM, nothing but LDZ. I'm going to search for the legal entity which we have created. Here it is, New York legal entity. It's active PSU as well as legal employer. Means we can hire employees, we can run the payroll, and then we are going to associate this particular legal entity with the legislative data group. It's mandatory because in this company you have the employees and you are going to pay the salaries to those employees. When you are paying the salaries to those employees, obviously there will be a payroll related information, nothing but salaries, structure, salary pay slips and other information. All this information needs to be specified in the LDC. So it's a mandatory setup. You work for any client. Within the LDC, we can have either one legal entity or multiple legal entities. So legal entity setup we have done successfully. After that legal entity, we have to go with the business unit, nothing but organizations, branches. Let's go to the task here, business unit. So what is business unit? If I speak in our language, business unit is nothing but a branch within the company. So there might be legal entity. Within that, we are going to have this options here. Now we are going to have the business unit here. What is the BU name? Is Heritage underscore business unit, and we are going to have the location. We can choose any location, not a problem. Choose common reference data set. We'll be creating our own set and attach this to the BU later. So after creating the business unit, next we are going to work with the departments. When we talk about the departments, departments cannot be created directly to the BU. So we have to create a department, attach the department to, sorry, we have to create a department, attach to reference data set, attach reference data set to the business unit. Business unit is already assigned to the legal entity. Legal entity is already assigned to LDZ. We missed one option called ledger. We missed. Attach the legal entity to the ledger. Let's create a ledger here first. Generally, ledger creation is done by the finance consultant. We are supposed to have ledger is a group of forces here. Using US chart of accounts, counting calendar. The ledger has been created successfully. Then assign your legal entity to the ledger. Choose the ledger, whatever we have created here. Within the ledger, we can have either one legal entity or multiple legal entities. So what is the meaning of assigning the legal entity to the ledger? In this company, whenever we are performing some accounting transactions, for example, you are selling some goods to customer, you will receive the amount from the customer. That needs to be prepared accounting entries. Or you are going to get some service from the suppliers. We would like to go for make the payment for the supplier for that accounting entries. Whenever we receive the amount, when we are making the payment, accounting entries will be entered. Those accounting entries needs to be entered in a proper format that is called a ledger, which combine currency, calendar, nothing but date, accounting combination, and also the accounting method. These four C's will be combined. That's called ledger. Okay. So our HCM also, once you run the payroll, you have to pay the salaries to the employees. Then salary accounts will be generated. All these salary accounts needs to be transferred to general ledger. That we'll see generally in our payroll module. Payroll module we are going to look into. So now we are talking about this department. So whenever we are creating a department, we'll ask our client, you want to go for attach the department for all the business units or for specific business units. Now I would like to go for assign this to the specific business unit, not for other business units. So what we have to do, I have to create a new reference data set. Let me open one notepad here and create a reference data set. Assign department to reference data set. Assign reference data set to the business unit. Assign reference data set to the business unit. Go to the task, manage reference data sets. I'm creating a new reference data set for departments. In this reference data set, we'll keep all our departments, maybe one department or multiple departments. Let me create two departments, finance and sales. I'm grouping my departments in my reference data set attached to business unit. So let me create a couple of departments here. First, choose our reference data set. Here it is. Finance department, I'm going ahead. Next, let me create one more department. Choose your reference data set. That is a sales department. So like this, we are going to group all our department. Client has to tell us what departments you would like to keep it here. Then search for the departments. See, if we look at two departments are available in this reference data set. Actually, departments we have to assign directly to the business unit, nothing but a branch. But what Oracle has done, they defined another layer called reference data set. Assign this reference data set to the business unit. You are assigning this reference data set means indirectly you are assigning these two departments to the BU. So departments we cannot assign to the BU directly. Departments you can't assign to the BU directly. You have to assign to reference data set and assign this reference data set to the business unit. Why this concept is designed by Oracle? What is the reason behind this? Very simple. If your client is having 400 business units, nothing but branches, and client is telling that there are 20 departments which are there in every branch, means every business unit. Okay, so for every BU, you have to create these 20 departments. 400 BUs we have. What will happen? 8,000 department names we have to create. Repeated names are going to be there, and there is no question of security over there. That's the reason. So in case if they ask us in the interview, why the reference data set concept is introduced by Oracle is very simple. We call it as a set ID concept also. Most of these objects are common in every business unit. That's the reason instead of adding one by one to the BU, let's group it and attach this group to the BU. That group is nothing but a reference data set. How many departments we have grouped right now? Two departments, finance and sales. You can group it either one or multiple. Now attach this reference data set to the business unit. Let me do this here. Manage business unit set assignment. Select your BU. Sometimes you will not be getting the scope option. Two things you have to verify. One is here, any pop-ups are blocked. Another one is refresh the page. Go for select scope option. This is our business unit. This is our business unit. There are number of objects will be associated with our BU, but when it comes for human capital management, this will be four objects, only four objects related for HCM. What are that? Department, job, location, and grade. This is what the department. We are assigning reference data set means in this reference data set, whatever the objects we have, that will be assigned to your business unit. Okay, so the BU has been associated with this here, and now we are going for next. After the department is assigned, next is the jobs we are going to assign. So let's go to the job here. Department is done. Now go to the task here, job task. For jobs also same. First we have to create a reference data set. We can use same reference data set, whatever we have used. Like just now we created one reference data set called a heritage. This is for departments we have used. Same thing we can use it for jobs also. Same thing we can use it for jobs also. But in the real time, whenever there are some hundreds of business units, okay, and number of objects, it's better to have separate, and in fact, it's required also. We'll be creating multiple reference data set. Okay, so let's go to the task here, heritage, job reference data set. Here it is, job reference data set. Now let's create now let's go for the task called job here. Go to the task manage job here. Choose your reference data set. I'm going to create two jobs. One is manager, another one is developer. Two jobs I'm going to configure. Here it is. Choose our job reference data set, heritage manager. Job. I'm going to create another job here, heritage developer. So two jobs we have created within our reference data set. Now, whenever we search here, heritage, two jobs are there, heritage manager and as well as the developer. So both are available in this reference data set, heritage job. This we have to assign to our business unit. Already we have done department. Same way we are going to do the job also. Same way we are going to do this particular job also over here it is. Now go to manage business unit set assignment. Already we are in the scope of our BU. Open the task here. Let's refresh the page. This is our business unit. We have already assigned the departments. Now we are going to assign the jobs. Where our jobs are there, our jobs are grouped in a reference data set. Go to this task here. Here it is job 7 club. This is how we can go for configure the jobs. After the jobs, then we'll start working with the positions. We'll go for working with the jobs and positions. Whenever we are working with the positions, make sure that the jobs, departments, and locations also needs to be done. So what is location? Location is nothing but a places where client is doing the business. For example, if we take a bank, for the banks, there will be a branches, there will be a ATM centers, and there will be some areas where they'll just give the information. They don't do any business over there. It's like customer care centers. These all are locations. Here, ATM center is a bank location. Customer information providing is a bank location. And these all are bank locations only. These all are bank locations only we have. Okay. So locations also you can't assign to your BU directly. It should be assigned through reference data set. We did jobs. Now we are going to do the locations. We'll ask our client how many locations are accessible to this BU. Let's say there are two locations are supposed to assign for this BU. First, what we have to do, create a reference data set, attach these locations to reference data set, assign reference data set to the business unit. We have created reference data set for departments, jobs. Now we are going for locations. Go to the task, manage reference data set. If we look at here, we have already do this. Location reference data set. Once the reference data set is created successfully, then we will go for create a location here, manage locations. Let me create another location here. Choose this reference data set. Now the locations we have created successfully here. Yes, two locations we have in our reference data set. So we have to assign these two locations to our BU. So we will assign this reference data set. Automatically, this will be assigned. These two locations will be assigned for our business. Let's go to our business unit task here. Manage business unit set assignment. We are already in the scope of our BU. Directly go to the business unit here, set assignment. Page. We did departments here, jobs here, locations. Here we have to choose our reference data set, locations. So we have done successfully the locations also. Next we are going for positions. But position is not a set ID concept. Position can be assigned directly to the business. So the simple answer in the interviews, they'll ask the question, why the jobs cannot assign to the BU directly? Why we required reference data set for jobs? Why we don't require positions for the BUs? It's very simple. Positions are different from one business unit to another business unit. Most of the companies, most of the requirements in the real time. That's why we don't need to group the positions. Directly, we will assign to the business unit. For every BU, we'll ask our client how many positions for the BU 1. 15 positions. Let's create directly. Second BU, how many positions in this BU? 7 positions. Let's create again. Like that, we will go for directly. But jobs are not like that. Jobs are common, most of the business units. That's why we'll group it and assign to at a time all the BUs or some specific business units. Now I'm going to create a position here. Manage positions. Now go select your business unit. See, it will ask you directly BU. It is not asking the reference data set. Now the important question in the interview is here. Where it is sales manager. When we want to create a position, what are the fields are mandated? The first one is BU, business unit. Second one is department. Third one is a job. Make sure that all these three are already available, already configured. Otherwise, it won't allow us to create, right? So here, choose this. Sometimes if you try to search, your departments will not be visible. Then you need to cross-check this RDS is assigned or not. Same thing, jobs. Same thing, locations. Right? Yes. So make sure that all your objects are supposed to populate here. I'm going to say that approved. We can hire multiple positions here, 11 members. Here itself will come to know whether all our setups are done successfully or not. I have created one position called sales manager. Let me create one more position called SAP developer under the developer job. So what is our BU? Heritage. Heritage SAP developer. Choose the department, say finance. Choose this job. Here it is developer. Choose the location. It's proposed. We have to make it as improved, pulled. Give the head count. Go for submit. So we have created positions. We have nothing to do with the positions. We have to go for configure the positions successfully. Now, positions we have created successfully and assigned directly to the business. These two positions are created successfully. If you look at here, directly it is assigned to the BU. There is no question of, assign RDF to the BU like this here. Next. After this positions, next is a grades. Grade is basically pay components. We'll ask our client, do you have any grades in your organization? Yes, if we say grades are there, then we'll try to associate these options. Let me configure the grades here. It is so let's go to the grades configuration. First, we have to create a reference data set because this is also set ID object. Go to the task, manage reference data sets. Heritage, grade, reference data set. There it is, grade reference data set. Reference data set we have created. Let's create grades here. I'm going ahead with through two grades. We will have multiple grades. So clients will follow one grade system for finance department, another grade system for sales department, another grade system for admin department, IT department, service department, like that, right? So obviously the hierarchy of the grades are different from country to country, department to department, like that. So that's why we are going to have one grade here, grade heritage A grade. Going to have here step 1 and step 2. This is just to move the employee promotions from one step to another step. Let's say there are 4 steps here. Client is telling the fourth one is optional, not mandatory. This fourth step is not mandatory. Then what we have to do, step 3 is a ceiling step. Nothing but that's the last one. Okay, so after that, not required. After that, not required. Whatever we have after this, those all are optional. Okay. Go to legislative data group here. I'm going to say that salary for this employees are, here it is, a salary per month. Minimum $2,000, maximum $4,000 fee. So whenever we are going to define salary structure, if you try to give more than this or less than this, it will show error message. Like this, we can set the pay components here. This is grade A, and I'm going to configure one more grade, grade B. Let's go to the second grade here. I'm just going to have only one step here. grade B salary per month. Let's say I'm going to put minimum is $1,000, maximum $3,000 we are going to have here. Go for submit. This is how it's going to work here. So we have configured the grades successfully, and grades are available in our reference data set, right? So obviously we have to assign the reference data set to the business. Now let's assign this grades to the business unit. Manage business unit, set assignment. Open the task here. This is our business unit. Go down where we have grades. Here we can find. Grades are defined successfully. We need to define the sequence for this grades. That's what we call it as a grade ladder. So we just defined grade A and grade B. But what is starting grade? What is next grade? We have to inform to the system. That's called grade ladder. Let's say there are 5 grades: grade A, grade B, grade X, grade Y, and grade D. But system must know what is starting grade, so that when you are trying to promote an employee, it will pick the next grade automatically, right? So I'm going to create a grade ladder. Choose your reference data set. Here it is grade, and so what type of grades you are trying to group? Grades are grade with steps. Grade with steps, we are trying to group it here. So after the B grade, I would like to go with the A grade. It seems it's like when you hire an employee for B grade, step one, after some time, if we are going for promotion, then we will get it into the heritage A step one, like that, right? This is how it will work. Stepwise also, if we want to configure the rates, we can configure. But one important thing we have to remember here, we cannot give the range. When you are configuring the rate at stepwise, we cannot give the range. We have to give only fixed. So let's say here it is salary rates. Okay, salary monthly. It won't allow you to give the range. For grade B, step one, what is the value? Fix. We have to give the fix. We cannot go for, provide the range options over here. Go for submit. This is how we are going to specify the grade ladder. So grade ladder will be defined. So once we define the grades, we are supposed to assign this grade system for a particular job or position. We have to specify this grade system is for which job and which position you are going to associate. That is going to be maintained here. Let's go for the task here. Minus job. We have already created job, right? Heritage manager. Edit, correction. Whatever the grades we have defined, go down. Here we'll attach the grades to job. Here it is the A grade. I'm going to assign the B grade also. submit. Same thing for positions. Now go to the task here, manage positions. Search for your position. Here it is, sales manager. Here it is A. Then we are going for here it is B. So like these grades we are supposed to assign for our job as well as to the positions. So once we have done this, next we will go for hire an employee. My client groups. Make sure that your user is having the access to the role called human resource specialist. Let's hire employee. Whenever we are hiring an employee, whatever the objects we have configured so far, enterprise structure should populate from legal entity. So legal entity level, we are going to hire an employee. In the interviews also, they'll ask you to what level you will hire an employee in the enterprise structure, legal entity level. Legal entity is nothing but your company, legal employer, right? This is associated with ledger and LDZ just for legislation rules that it is. Division we are not going to use. Whatever we do, the setups, everything comes under the same enterprise. That's why whenever we are hiring an employee, system will not ask you for which enterprise you are hiring an employee because there will be only one enterprise for every client, right? So let's go for legal entity. Now here, see, it will not ask you the legal entity, legal employer. Indirectly legal entity only. But legal employer is nothing but a legal entity which is having the access to hire an employees here. Now whatever we have created legal employer that we have to choose here. Here it is, New York. This is and first name and last name. These are general information, home address, and personal identification details. Actual or organization's data will be populated in this tab, employment information. We have already provided the legal entity, right? Next, system will ask what for which BU you are hiring this employee, for which business unit you are going to hire this particular employee. So already we provided legal employer, then business unit is here. This is our BU. Next, for which department? After BU, what is next? Department, job, grade, locations, positions. This is all. But if you choose the position, automatically the department, location, and other things will be populated because already we given the link, right? If I select a heritage, the sales manager, you can find automatically here. See, automatically we got job name, right? Department name, location name, This all fields has been populated here successfully. So whatever the setups we have done so far in our global HR, like legal employer, business unit, position, job, of course, grades will be populated. Let me show you. Location is here. Right. Now I would like to verify the grades also. No problem. You can choose the grades here. Grade ladder. We have already assigned, right? Grade ladder is been assigned. Yeah. Search for this. Here it is. Grade ladder. You choose the grade. You can set the step also. Step 1 or step 2. This is step 1. Step 2. It will show the salary details also. At the time of hiring itself, HR recruiter will come to know what is the salary needs to offer to the employee. Right. So we'll get all this information here. Yes, we have to verify. So we got successfully all this means we have implemented enterprise structure successfully. All this enterprise structure, workforce structure. We call these two things as enterprise structure as well as workforce structure in global HR. So we hired an employee here successfully. Right. Okay. So this is how we can go for implement global HR, a very basic level, like enterprise structure as well as workforce structure. After this, lot of other options we have, like workforce lifecycle approvals, security profiles, loads, employment models, trees. This all will come in the advanced level here. We'll talk about that in our next training sessions. Okay. Thank you.